Hi there, this is Ray Davis. I'm the author of SWTracker, and I just wanted to bring you a very quick video on changes that I made here in my most recent release, which is version 1.0.6. You can see the version number at any time on the very front screen of the app at the top center. Anyway, there are 4 little changes here, not serious by any means, but I did want to bring you up to date. So let's take a look at those 4. Probably most important is some location message changes. You're familiar with the location messages. That's what's sent up to Spotwalla every 5 minutes. It includes the location, the speed, battery information, and several other pieces of info that are stored with the location data on your machine. Right before the Iron Butt Rally, which was early in June when this was discovered, a change made at the Spotwalla website caused me to have to make a quick change for a couple of my beta testers. And that change was I needed to add to the location messages. It turns out that when only the speed information was sent, Spotwalla would calculate bearing and direction changes, and it also would send that information when you downloaded your trip data in CSV format for people that used to do that. Well, as it turns out, that got broken at one point, and so it required that my app send that data now. So the app SWTracker sends not only speed information, it includes bearing, which goes from 0 to 359 point something degrees, and then the direction is calculated from that bearing, north, south, east, west, etc. It also sends the elevation of that current location. So all of this comes from the GPS when it captures the location information on the fly and gets ready to send it up to Spotwalla. It shouldn't mean any changes for you, but the major change that you might see is that previously, when only sending the speed information, Spotwalla would attempt to calculate the bearing and the direction based upon the next message coming 5 minutes down the pike. So the bearing was always kind of based upon something that was 5 minutes later in history. The bearing and direction right now is instantaneously recorded by the GPS and sent to Spotwalla, and it is recorded that way on Spotwalla. So that's now an instantaneous read rather than a delayed calculation. The next fix here was actually a crash, which was caused when a user would go into the custom message dialog and select the camera and decide to cancel the camera, and then select it again. And what happened is that would cause a crash. The same thing would happen if you picked the photo picker instead of the camera, canceled, and then came back and selected either camera or photo picker. And the reason for that was that we found this is due to the fact that we had a user, he went in and he selected the camera, and the camera presented both a video selection or an image selection. And unfortunately, he selected video and then realized a mistake because Spotwalla doesn't accept video uploads. He canceled out of the video and reselected camera to try again, and it crashed the app. That's what causes the crash. That's how we found it. And so there's also been a change made besides fixing the crash, that I've also gone in and I've made the camera controls within the app no longer show video as a possibility. So those 2 things should prevent any kind of problems along that line. Lastly, another user earlier in the year had actually contacted me to say, hey, the saved photo in my photo library doesn't contain the location of where the picture was taken. And that was correct. At that time, I didn't realize it didn't, and I had to do a bit of checking out how to figure out how to do that. We've got it figured out. So not only the location is now stored in the photo that is in your photo library, but also the camera EXIF information, which includes things like which lens were you using, what the shutter speed was, all of those camera control settings that are recorded by the camera. So both the EXIF and location information is now stored with the image on your photo library. And it's important to remember that the photo in the photo library is full resolution that your camera takes, whereas the image that is sent up to Spotwalla is reduced such that the largest side is 1280 pixels across. And this is done to reduce the amount of data that has to go up to Spotwalla, remembering that in many cases you're out riding in areas that cellular coverage is spotty, and so we try to allow us to kind of get the best chance of getting our messages and photos up to Spotwalla. So that's it. I encourage you to download the 1.0.6 release from the App Store. If you haven't yet watched the 1.0.5 release video here in my YouTube channel, please do. I'll put a link down below in the description. There were some very important changes in that release, and most importantly having to do with automatic restarting of the app and auto tracking. And it makes a difference in whether or not the app can be automatically restarted by the operating system in case the operating system had requested the app be killed. Anyway, if you ever need me, I'm reachable at info@rvtechtools.com. That's my email address. And I look forward to hearing from you. And please grab the new release and hope everything works well for you. Thanks.